Now that the Midnight Deep Dive has aired and the subsequent development notes have dropped, we've got our first look at changes coming to Mistweaver Monk in Midnight, so I wanted to share some initial thoughts. I'm first and foremost a SooM Weaver. That's an enjoyer of the soothing mist-centric playstyle currently supported by the Peer into Peace talent, so as usual my opinions will have to do with that build, not with fist weaving. I've been pretty quiet during Season 3 since there haven't been many changes to our gameplay outside of the Celestials tier set dramatically increasing our APM. Those particular bonuses have been baked right into the hero tree for Midnight, so if you enjoy those like I do, chances are you'll continue to enjoy them in 12.0. Unfortunately, I don't have all of the alpha tooltips to display like I usually do, so I hope I can describe things effectively. This is based on a mock-up of talents, created by hand by the people over at Wowhead, which is itself based on an early alpha build, so everything's a work in progress and could change dramatically by the release of Midnight. To start, since I already mentioned that the Season 3 Celestials tier bonuses are being carried forward by the hero tree, the only other hero talent change I noticed was the addition of Stampede of the Ancients, a new talent that makes our Ox procs shield the primary target for 400% more. This should make spending the proc feel more meaningful. As far as minor changes, I'll start with the negative. First, we're taking a couple hits to our defensive kit. Diffuse Magic is being baked into Fortifying Brew through a passive talent, and Dance of the Wind has seemingly been reduced to a passive 5% increased dodge chance, which is a major nerf from its two previous incarnations. On a more positive note, the talent Jade Infusion is being added on a choice node with our statue. If we choose to take it, Thunder Focus T will spawn our statue automatically whenever we cast it, so we will no longer need to actively place it. And speaking of Thunder Focus T, it can no longer be used on Expel Harm or Vivify, which narrows its effect down to 3 remaining spells: Enveloping Mist, Renewing Mist, and Rising Kick. Finally, Chai Harmony and Lotus Infusion are having their numbers tweaked, and Vivify will now track the amount of Renewing Mists we have active on its action bar bind, saving us the trouble of making a weak aura, if we like that kind of information at a glance. Now, on to bigger things. Enveloping Mist's heal over time is being increased by 60%, but its bonus to healing received by the target has been reduced to a mere 10%, or 20% if we run Mist Wrap. This means Mending Proliferation loses a lot of value, but this is partially offset by a buff to Mending Proliferation, which changes its proc rate from 50% to 100%. The buff to Enveloping Mist's heal over time should also add value to Misty Peaks, but my builds usually don't leave many extra points to spend there, so we'll see how that goes. The next part is a little strange. Shaylin's Gift is buffed by 25%, and when talented, it replaces Vivify and functions with all talents that interact with Vivify. It no longer requires clouds to cast, but clouds are still generated and will amplify its healing. The talent Invigorating Mist will also increase the healing of Shaylin's Gift by 75% on its primary target. What's unclear to me is whether Heart of the Jade Serpent is a dead hero talent without Shaylin's Gift. I'm assuming it is, since that's how builds without Shaylin's Gift are now, but it's too soon to say. I'm really curious to see how strong Shaylin's Gift feels after these changes, especially when cast with 0 clouds, since that might influence a lot of other talent choices. I won't go into more detail this early, but I'm really interested to see how it plays out. The developer's note says they're looking to carve unique niches for Vivify and Shaylin's Gift based on group size, which is probably why they're also increasing Vivify's primary healing by 60% and no longer reducing its healing beyond 5 targets. Still on the topic of Shaylin's Gift, I want to point out that Xiaohao's Lessons is also going away, and in its place there's a new talent called Mist Dispersion, causing allies healed by Shaylin's Gift to take 1% increased healing from all sources for 15 seconds per cloud consumed. The wording strikes me as a little confusing, particularly whether all sources means just our healing or everyone's healing. Peer into Peace is gone, but its primary effect is now baseline, causing Soothing Mist to follow the target of our Enveloping Mist and Vivify, or Shaylin's Gift by default. This seems to imply that we have no way to gain the longer duration Soothing Mist that Peer into Peace gave us, but there are 2 major gains to consider. One is that we should finally have the option of taking Pool of Mists within a Soothing Mist-centric build. I'm assuming Rapid Diffusion procs will continue to trigger the CDR on our kick, in which case the combination of CDR from Pool and from our Manaforge set bonuses turned hero talents might stack nicely. Again, time will tell. Next, and much more importantly, we are getting a talent called Way of the Serpent, which allows us to channel both Soothing Mist and Crackling Jade Lightning while moving, at the cost of a 40% movement reduction while we do so. This talent also passively increases our healing from Shielan's gift by 15% and renewing mist by 30%. I've missed mobile soothing mist so much, since that's the version of the spec I got to play when I first picked up Mistweaver in Warlords, I think? Regardless, I think this solves a major weakness of the playstyle, which is that on fights like Forge Weaver Araz and Nexus King Saladar, certain phases or intermissions that demand we sidestep constantly can make ramping difficult or unreliable. Onto the Apex talent, we're getting Spirit Font. This talent gives both Rising Kick and Vivify a chance to trigger Spirit Font, making our next Enveloping Mist channel Soothing Mist onto up to 5 allies at 50% effectiveness for 8 seconds. This is smart healing, meaning if one of these Soothing Mists heal a full health target, it'll swap to a new injured target, or if there isn't one, it'll split its healing into the other Soothing Mists. Adding another 2 points to Spirit Font adds a passive 10% damage to Rising Kick, 10% healing to Enveloping Mist, and amps these up to 50% while Spirit Font is active, presumably for the full 8 seconds. Even though Soothing Mist is also getting a 50% buff to its healing, I don't think this will be enough to make Unison viable, but I'd love to be proven wrong. A fourth and final point in Spirit Font causes Thunder Focus T to activate Spirit Font when we cast it, and whenever Spirit Font procs, allies targeted by its Soothing Mists will get half-power Chi Cocoons. I'll go over the rest in no particular order. Celestial Harmony no longer appears to trigger Enveloping Breath whenever we cast Enveloping Mist during Yulon, but invoking Yulon now gives us 2 instant casts of Enveloping Mist to start, meaning we'll have a more flexible start to our ramp. Not a great trade-off, but it is what it is. Another hit to our ramp, Invoker's Delight, is going away. I'm sure I'll feel that at low haste in the early weeks of Midnight, but hopefully I can recover some of that quickened pace with haste from Secret Infusion and Flowing Wisdom, which is the future talent carrying forward our current 4-piece set bonus that gives us 10% haste during Heart of the Jade Serpent. This one's a little more niche, but there'll be no more pre-pull cheesing with Mana Tea. I think I've explained this in my other videos. If we finish a full-length channel of Mana Tea just before a pull, we can go in with up to 20 seconds of its discount. There's going to be no more discount to mana costs after drinking Mana Tea, but the mana return will be 25% more to compensate. I'm okay with this. Moving on to talents I don't normally take, I feel like I should address the changes to Invoke Chi-Ji. Whereas Invoke Yulon makes Enveloping Mist 50% cheaper, while its active Chi-Ji is only 20%, but makes Enveloping Mist instant cast for its duration. Obviously, there's more to consider if you're a Fistweaver, but the way I see it, this expands the similarities between Yulon and Chi-Ji in a way that makes transitioning to playing one over the other a little more straightforward. Tear of Morning is getting a slight buff for any Mistweavers who despise Rising Mist and its rotational priorities. Tear of Morning buffs Shielan's gift by 20%, heals all allies affected by Renewing Mist for 8% of the healing done by Enveloping Mist, and increases the duration of our Enveloping Mist by 4 seconds when we have a Celestial summoned. Jadefire Stomp is gone completely. Its follow-up talent, Awakened Jadefire, has been renamed Way of the Crane, placed on a choice node with Way of the Serpent, and freed from its positional requirements. With this, I'm thinking that it should be a lot easier to dabble in hybrid builds in Midnight, and it's even looking possible to take Dance of Chi-Ji and Jade Empowerment in the same build, since Dance is being moved to the bottom row of the Mistweaver tree. On a related note, the talent Jadefire Teachings, which is still unfortunately on a choice node with Rushing Wind Kick, is now a passive with 100% uptime, no longer a triggered proc. Similar to how they simplified Thunder Focus T, the talents T of Serenity and Plenty no longer empower Vivify or Expel Harm, meaning the empowers we roll from those talents are going to be more useful more often. Finally, I want to mention the talent Peaceful Mending. If I'm remembering correctly, it's got a poor track record for functioning properly with additional soothing mists, such as the ones that come from our statue or Unison. That being said, considering Enveloping Mist's heal over time is getting buffed, if Peaceful Mending functions with the soothing mists from our Spirit Font Apex talent, it could gain a lot of value, especially in 5-man content. So those are my thoughts. I'd say I'm optimistic about most of these changes, even if I'm still a little skeptical about the change to Shielan's gift. I think we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out, but all things considered, Midnight sounds like it'll continue to provide Mistweavers with a soothing mist-centric, ranged-friendly playstyle, at least in terms of our healing kit. I hope I get into Alpha when it goes live, so I can take a look for myself. But in the meantime, I hope you found this information as useful and exciting as I did. Until next time, thanks for watching, and have a good one.